Thank you. You can all put your hands down, and counsel, you may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. I think, Your Honor, I'd like to start by giving a little bit of history about this case and why we're here today. This case originally had its first order in May of 2021. At that time, the court had made orders for the two children before the court today, Alfredo Cuevas Jr. and Rico Ty Cuevas. And at that time, the parties had agreed that they were residing together, and there were no orders for conservatorship or possession and access. There was no retroactive child support. There was a judgment on arrears in that order, and there was a release. And let's see here. And I'm sorry, I don't think that was the original order one. I think it was an added child in 2021.
Okay.
After 2021, the state filed a motion to an original petition in order to set conservatorship orders as well as child support orders because the parties were no longer living together. It had been reset a few times, and now in December of 2023, there was a temporary order that was entered setting child support at minimum wage, as well as medical support as well. And it also ordered that both parents should be joint managing conservators of both children. Ms. Morales was the primary managing conservator, and visitation was by agreement, written agreement only. At the last setting, Your Honor, I believe it was before Judge Roush, the court reset the case in order to see if Mr. Cuevas would be working out of town as a power line foreman, and then we came back here to see if that was going to be the case, and if so, attempt to finalize. I've conferred with both parties, and I believe today they're requesting two different things. I think Mr. Cuevas' testimony will indicate that he would like to finalize child support at the minimum wage obligations that they are now, and Ms. Morales would like to finalize child support orders at Mr. Cuevas' potential earnings amount. And so with that, Your Honor, I can start calling witnesses.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Yes, Your Honor. Okay, state will go ahead and call Mr. Alfredo Cuevas. Mr. Cuevas, is it true here that that you are a power line foreman? That's what you've been doing for most of your working life?
I'm doing 24 years.
24 years. And how much were you earning when you do that, that kind of work?
I'm grandfathered in. It's changed a whole bunch. I started like at 13. I started as a groundman.
Okay, you started at 13, and towards the later part of your career, or the 24th year, how much are you earning at as a power line foreman then?
54.
$54?
Sure.
Is that per hour?
It's hourly, yes, sir. But it's
hourly
yes,
and 40 hours a week. Okay. Now, can you tell me, is it true that since the last setting, you were working as a power line foreman?
I was.
But that you recently lost that job?
Yes, sir. I explained to you exactly how it happened.
You did explain to me, but now I'd like you to tell the court what happened to that job. What happened?
We were running a storm in Tyler, Texas on July the 9th, the 29th, I believe. The 19th. It happened on the 19th. So they put an individual by the name of Joshua Leal to drive a piece of equipment to Tyler. He fell asleep. He rode the bucket 3 times. After the accident was all said and done, they ran a DMV on him. He had an invalid CDL license. The insurance did no longer want to cover the equipment going down the highway because of them putting that individual behind that wheel. So they stopped the insurance on all the fleet. So they shut the DOT number down they were going to suspend the DOT for 6 months. And from one day to another, they let us go. They let us all management, general foreman, superintendent, foremen, linemen, operators, groundmen, safety man.
How many people did they let go total?
It was 3 crews. We're 5-man crews, and then management.
Okay. And so when did you lose that job?
My last day of work was my last payroll was for a day and a half on the third, on the first Friday of August.
Okay. And so, do you have any prospects for working again as a power line foreman?
I'm trying, man. I try. Like I said, it was unexpected. I recently I told you I purchased a car. I'm coming home from after we get terminated. Of course, I released the company truck. They hit some lady ran a stop sign in San Antonio and they hit me in my car. So my car is down at the moment. So I don't have means of transportation right now.
You don't have transportation right now? How do you get around right now?
I'm managing with a friend. I mean, it ain't easy, let me tell you.
Okay. And
I filed for unemployment. I haven't heard back from them. I mean, just to keep a roof over my head for the meantime.
Is your long-term plan to start working again as a power line foreman if you can?
Well, here's the deal. So I reinstated my license the last time I told you I did so. So I got a letter from the Texas Department of Public Safety. They suspended my license for 2 more months. I won't be eligible to get it back to the 11/20 of 24. So right now my license is invalid. That's another thing that's holding me up.
Is that license a CDL license or your regular driver's license?
I've never obtained a CDL license ever in my career. No, sir.
Your regular driver's license is suspended until November of 2024?
I just paid $4,400 to get it back. And then I had it like maybe a month and a week. And they sent me a letter through my email and then through my mailing address that my license is going to be suspended for 2 months. I had to, in order for me to carry a occupational, I had to take out a non-owner's SR-22, and it's a process. But I requested a hearing, but I haven't heard nothing back from them.
Okay, and so in the temporary order, as I was telling the court, your current child support for 2 children is set at $273 per month, and it drops down to $219 per month after the oldest child graduates high school. Are you asking the court to finalize the child support terms at that amount?
I would like to, we've done this. I've never seen a reset go off. Like, I think we reset it like 10 times already. I would like to. I mean, it's like, it feels like we're going backward. I mean, until I get further work, we'll do a review. But as of right now, I would like to. This every coming back and forth is just.
Do you think, with regard to the conservatorship and the visitation by agreement and the conservatorship where the children live with Mr. Morales, are you okay with finalizing those terms as they are in the temporary order?
A good mother, yes, sir. That's fine. Yeah, I mean, if she lets me see him, when she lets me see him, I mean, I'm not gonna go out there and force her to let me see him. I do reach out to my older boy, but like I said, I just stay away to avoid the conflict.
Do you want more specific visitation terms with your 2 children?
I would like to, yes, sir.
And what kind of
I like this at this point. I remember she requested supervised visits. I'm not a criminal. I haven't spent more than a day in life in jail. I'm not a felon. I don't have a criminal background. Like, my record's clean. So supervised visits is just absurd. You know, I mean, but I'm not going to go against it. I'm not going to argue with it.
Who do you think should supervise the visits if there's going to be a supervisor?
I don't have family, man. My parents are both deceased. My aunt's real. She mentioned my aunt Ophelia, but she's sick right now. She's touching her late 80s. So for the most part, I don't have immediate family to grant her that supervised visit.
How old is your aunt Ophelia?
She's 80. She's gonna be 86.
86. Okay. Do you think it's fair to set child support based on minimum wage when you're capable of making much more than that?
Also, I can't even make that right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. Like I said, my hands are tied. I'm stuck between a hard spot and a rock. Like, it's not about the money. You know what I'm saying? I can barely be able to afford to put that out. You know what I'm saying? As far as I understand, I have back pay like 1,000 something. You know, I mean, I don't need it to. until we get another review, until I get a job, until I get my stuff situated. I would like to, like I said, this is like the 8th or 9th reset we've done. I've asked her for a paternity test. She didn't want to give it to me. That's the past, whatever. But I just want to move forward with it. I really do.
Last time you were in court, you had stated you were going to start working as a line foreman, and you did, but then you lost that job.
Correct. Yes, sir.
Okay. And before that job, when is the last time you had worked?
I hadn't worked. I owed $4,400 on my license. And we ran that first storm. I used my whole storm check to pay my ticket, the fees that I owed, the reinstatement fees. And I thought, I thought I got that out of the way, but now it's the license it's gonna hold me back too. And of course my means of transportation. Well, all the work's up north. There's nothing really here in Texas. The hiring process is way different. It's changed a whole bunch.
As part of your job, do you go work sometimes out of state to work on power lines that have been damaged by storms?
Puerto Rico, New York, North Carolina. I've covered pretty much all the East Coast.
Do you have any of those jobs lined up to do out of state?
You're talking multiple contractors I worked with throughout the year. It's just that's the thing about a contractor. Your job's not secure. Tomorrow's not promised. It's just one day you got the work. Next day, like I said, it was very unfortunate that it was going good with King George here. I was actually in San Antonio, and up till whoever dropped the ball, management, they didn't follow up on his driver. Here it is, right there. Look, they didn't. I don't know if you can see that where the buckets flipped. They didn't follow up with the DMV, so they shut it down completely.
Yes, I understand. Okay, Mr. Cuevas. But at the same time, you did say that you had been doing power line work for 24 years, right?
Off and on, boss. Like not solid. Like it's been rough, man. It's been interesting to tell you.
Okay, Mr. Cuevas.
I'm not always making 54, of course. That's the most I've ever made in my career up to this date. But it varies with the contractor.
Yes.
Their pay scale is different.
What would you say would be your average pay rate
for a foreman, or
for a power line foreman? Yes, sir.
Average?
Yes, sir.
It varies. Like I said, it's anywhere from 40 to 45. A Pike, I know Pike's paying like 52. This King George it's a new company that had barely come on board, but they topped me out. Their superintendent he used to work for me, so he helped me out. But it was real short. It didn't last very long, about a month, maybe month and a week.
Okay. And can you tell me, when was the last time you were alone with Alfredo and Rico?
May 26th of 2023.
Why has it been so long since you've seen them?
Ask her.
Well, I will, but I want to ask you. What's your answer?
I'm gonna. I don't reach out to her because I'm just not doing the whole conflict no more. You know what I'm saying? We have history together. We have a lot of history together, but we've changed a lot of words that they cut. And I would like to have a relationship with my kids like every other week. If I had my choice, but it's getting her to allow that. You know what I'm saying? Like she wants to supervise visits. Like I'm not a criminal. Like I understand if I think I've been, but I'm not a criminal. I don't have a criminal background at all. Like I don't have nothing on my record.
Okay, Mr. Cuevas. And so, do you? Where do you currently live? What town? I don't want to know the specific address, but what town do you live in right now?
I live in San Antonio.
Okay. And do you know what town Mr. Morales lives in?
Pearsall.
Pearsall. How far a drive is that for you? Would that be for you?
54 miles.
54 miles. Okay. All right. I may have some more questions for you, Mr. Cuevas, but for now, I'll pass the witness. And, Your Honor, the state would like to call Miss Roxanne Morales.
Okay.
Ms. Morales.
Yes, sir.
I want to talk about first the child support and then the visitation. When it comes to child support, you heard Mr. Cuevas testify that he wants to finalize these orders based on the minimum wage obligation amounts that are currently in the temporary orders. Are you in agreement to do that, or what do you say to that request?
I say that it's a consistency of what he's doing. He works for a couple of months, quits, finding any excuse. Like I said, he's been going through this we've been going through this for like almost a year and a half. He does work, but then when it comes to court time, he's no longer working. His license is suspended. He had to pay his license. Something came up. It's the same thing. Different.
And do you not believe Mr. Cuevas when he said that he lost his job recently due to an accident involving a driver that was not CDL licensed?
I don't know what to believe anymore.
What would you
use?
If it was up to you, what kind of final orders would you like to see in this case?
I like to see a little bit of more progress on him, but like I said, we're here again today. So again, we reset it from last 3 months and it's the same thing again.
Is there an amount in child support that you would be comfortable with if it's not the minimum wage, $273 a month?
Can you take care of 2 kids with 200 and something a month?
Do you think that child support should be based on $54 an hour instead of minimum wage?
Sure. I'm not making that right now. You can't charge me.
Mr. Cuevas, but give us Ms. Morales a chance to speak here. We'll call you back in a little while. Ms. Morales, my question for you is, do you think that child support should be set at $54 an hour at 40 hours a week?
If he's making good money, yes, sir, I do.
If I calculate that, it comes out to, for 2 children, 25% of net income. That comes out to $1,802 a month in child support, with a step down to $1,442. Do you think that's what child support should be?
If he's making that.
He says he's not. Do you believe he can make that?
Of course I can. Of course he will. He can. He was doing it for almost a month and a half.
Is there some different amount that you would be okay with child support being set at?
And what amount is that?
Well, I'm asking you, ma'am.
To give and take amount.
Okay. Let's talk about visitation. When it comes to visitation, is it true that Mr. Cuevas hasn't seen Alfredo or Rico since 2023?
I believe so. Probably a little bit more longer.
Why has it been so long from your perspective?
Because every time they ask him to have the visitation for supervised, he declined it, just like the judge did last time we had court. He asked them and gave him the privilege and gave him the okay if he would to see the kids on that Sunday, and if he was in town, and he stated no, he didn't want nothing to do with none of the visitation or anything with the boys.
Do you think that Mr. Cuevas would harm either Alfredo or Rico, either physically or emotionally?
Yes, we were under a CPS case a while back due to him kind of choking my oldest son.
And that being Alfredo?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And how old is Alfredo?
He is now 17.
And how old is Rico?
He is 4.
Okay. Before this court case started, were you the two of you living together?
Correct.
How long did y'all live together?
Our last day was December 24th, 2022.
But how long had y'all lived together before then?
We were off and on
How long have you known Mr. Cuevas?
since we were in high school.
Do you think that he would hurt either Alfredo or Rico right now?
I'm not sure.
Is this why you would prefer that they have supervised visits?
Correct.
And is it true that you would prefer that his aunt be the one that supervises the visits?
Yes.
Is this the same aunt that's 86?
I don't know if she's 86, but yes, it's the same aunt.
Does she seem like she could be in her 80s?
I'm not sure, but she is taking care of 2 teenage boys too as well. So I don't know. I haven't seen her in a while.
Do you have any protective orders against Mr. Cuevas or anything like that that would prevent you from being the supervisor?
No, sir, but we did have previous protective orders on him.
When's the last time you had one?
Ooh. I think back in 2019, I had 2 previous ones. I don't remember the dates. It's been a while.
Okay, but y'all stopped living together in 2022, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Y'all should have those protective orders on file.
All right. And so, is it your belief that Mr. Cuevas gets jobs and then quits jobs before he has his next court date?
Yeah, he'll do it again. If he reset again, he'll do it again.
Why do you believe that?
Because it's a consistency. He doesn't want to pay. Just like he said last court date too, he told the judge, he was being very disrespectful to the judge. And he told the judge that he wanted to just go ahead and give up his rights because he doesn't want to pay.
Okay. All right, Ms. Morales, thank you very much. I'll pass the witness.
Thank you. Call your next witness.
Yes, Your Honor. State will call Ms. Deandra Rodriguez.
Hi, yes, sir.
Yes, Ms. Rodriguez, can you tell me what is your name and your job title?
Deandra Rodriguez. I'm a child support officer
Who do you work for?
in the state of Texas.
As part of your duties as a child support officer, do you look up income information for people here in Texas that have child support cases?
Yes, sir, I do.
Were you able to look up the income information for Mr. Alfredo P. Cuevas?
Yes, I was.
There's been some testimony so far that Mr. Cuevas takes jobs and leaves jobs for one reason or another rapidly. Can you tell me how many employers has he had since 2023 to 2024 so far?
I show 4.
Okay. What was the earliest employer?
It looks like a King George LLC.
And what year and what part of the year did he work for that company?
So it's showing the second quarter, which would have been April, May, June. And I show wage information of $9,048.
Of what year?
I'm sorry, 2024?
2024. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Before that, do you see another employer in 2024?
Yes, sir. Brave Services, Inc.
And what quarter was he working there?
So I show 2 quarters. The first quarter of 2024 with an income of $2,760, and then the second quarter of 2024, $8,895.
Okay.
I have a clarification question.
Yes, ma'am.
You reported earnings with the second quarter of $9,058. Was that total or with that particular employer that you were talking about?
This is the employer for King George. That's the
Okay,
wage information for that one.
can you give me total earnings for first quarter of 2024 that you're able to see?
So I'm able to see the first quarter 2024 of $2,760.
Okay, and the second quarter?
Second quarter would be between the two employers, $17,943.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And, oh, yes, Your Honor, not a problem. Ms. Rodriguez, what about in 2023? How many employers do you see that he had then?
So for 2023, I showed two different ones. The most recent of 2023 was Pike Electric. It only reports the fourth quarter of 2023 with the amount of $5,928.
Okay. And any other employers in 2023?
Yes, sir. Fusion Power LLC for the second quarter of 2023, and they're reporting $13,916.25.
Now, these are quarterly amounts, which means that a quarter lasts 3 months in the year. Is that right, Ms. Rodriguez?
Yes, sir.
And so is there any way to know if he was working the full 3 months or perhaps he was only working 1 or 2 months out of the quarter?
No, there's no way of knowing.
Okay. I think that's all the questions that I had for you. I'll pass the witness. If there's no questions for Ms. Rodriguez, Your Honor, could she be excused?
She may.
Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you, Ms. Rodriguez. You're free to mute and go on off camera.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yes, ma'am. Okay. The state will recall Mr. Alfredo Cuevas.
Okay.
Mr. Cuevas, you've heard Ms. Rodriguez testify about those 4 employers you've had over the last couple of years. Does that sound correct to you? You're muted.
You're muted. You'll need to unmute, sir.
Yes, sir. It was most definitely correct. It wasn't consistently, like I said. The reason I had fallouts with I gave for that company. They gave me orders, knowing that he told me it was no longer policy to put auger in the ground. I knew it. I knew better. I knew better of not doing it. He said the inspector was gone for the week. He needed the post set. I put the auger in the ground. Inspector showed up, terminated me. That was on my behalf. I got terminated. Fusion, I had a fallout with management, with my general foreman. It's I'm not quitting. I'm not quitting the jobs that I wanted to. I paid her $76,000. I paid her $76,000. We lived together with child support. Yeah, it's not about the money. It's not about the money at all. I'm a workaholic. That's what I mean. I'm not ducking and dodging court dates. That's what gave me. Like what she's saying. I'm not. I mean, that's not true. Mr.
Cuevas, what is the longest employer that you've worked for how long? With
T&D for 10 years, and back in we went to Puerto Rico. Like I think I started in, that's 2017 was my last year with T&D, but I did 10 years with them.
Why did you stop working for them?
There was a fatality in Bloomington, Texas, and they failed to follow protocol, and a gentleman from Kansas City got electrocuted. We lost the contract for AEP, so we got all let go. I mean,
okay. For your most recent employer, King, let me see what that name was.
King George Utilities.
Yes. For them, how long did you work for them before they let you go in August here?
I just started with them. We had a reset. I remember I explained to y'all I was trying to get a job in North Dakota.
Yes.
Well, I jumped on with them right before that popped off. But like I said, it was short and sweet.
But was that in June? Did you start working for King?
It was in May. I ran a storm in the beginning of April. I ran a storm, and then it was just temporary. They weren't trying to put a crew together. They were barely opening the doors. So I ran a storm with them. It was like maybe like 4 days. Came back. I was off for like 2 weeks, and he called me. He was gonna They were gonna open the doors in San Antonio if I would be willing to push a crew. And I said absolutely. Like I said, he used to work for me, so I did. You know, he told me make sure your license squared away. So that check that I went to ran in Dallas, I paid my citations for like 43 something. I paid to get my license back. We were good. We didn't have a solid contract. We were at the shop up to the incident of the accident.
Okay. So what I'm trying to figure out is, when did you start working for them, and when did you stop in August? You stopped in August, early August, but when did you start? Did you
my hire day was my hire day was the 5/26 of 2024, and my last day of work was my last payroll actually was on the 3rd of August, but for the week before the week of the 3rd, so it was the end of July.
Okay, so you basically worked for them for 2 months then, June and July.
Right.
And in that time, you made $9,048.
That's going based off a storm rate. Like, I don't get paid. What you don't understand, we don't get paid storm rate on a day-to-day. Like, it's 40 hours flat. You know, they give us a per diem to eat and live, but I don't get paid like 80, 90 hours a week every week. That's when we're going to restore power and storm restoration. That's what y'all got to understand. The numbers are highlighted that because it's 16-hour days till the power is restored. That's what that is. Like, I don't do that on a day-to-day.
Okay, Mr. Cuevas.
We chase storm.
I think I have sufficient wage information to go forward.
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you, Your Honor. Then I will pass the witness.
Okay, I have a couple questions. Medical support, was that agreed? What are we doing on that?
That was set at $57 per month, Your Honor. And I think at this point, the state would be okay with leaving it at that amount to go to the state for the government health plan.
Let me enter that real quick.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Thank you all for being here. The court's orders are as follows. Again, just to remind you both, if either one of you disagree with these orders, you are welcome to appeal it by filing a written request with the district clerk in Frio County. The presiding district judge would hear your case all over again. My orders are as follows. Let's first of all explain how I got there.
Yes.
What I did was take the first quarter and second quarter earnings of this year. One quarter was high, 17,943. This first quarter was much lower, 2,760. And I came up with an average of $4,473 per month. Wait a minute, that may not be right. Hold on. May have miscalculated my own calculations. Hold on. Okay, 17,943 in the second quarter, 2,760 in the first quarter, for an average of 3,450. It appears that Mr. Cuevas's employment is sporadic. When he does go on storm duty or other duty, it appears that he makes very good money. However, that does not appear to be consistent, and it certainly hasn't been for the last year. So the court determined that it was appropriate to take an average for this year, 3,450, translates with a $57 credit for medical support, translates to $720 per month in child support. So $720 a month plus $57 a month in child support will begin on September 1. Joint managing conservatorship, the visitation is modified as follows. On the first, third, and fifth Saturday and Sunday of each month, Mr. Cuevas will be entitled to visitation from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. under the supervision of his aunt until the youngest child is 7. At the time the youngest child is 7, visitation will be the first, third, and fifth Saturday and Sunday of the month from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m., but no supervision is required. Court costs are assessed against Mr. Cuevas. He has left the meeting.